Hello guys and welcome back to the StarLadder Season 1 Finals here in Kiev. We have some bonus games for you. We have tiebreaker matches coming up with 3 players, Dog, Kalento and StanCifka. Joining me on the cast here is Tice. He's going to be helping out, giving us guys some breaks. How are you feeling, dude?
I'm feeling awesome after today making it through the bracket pretty early in the group. So yeah, I'm feeling really happy, and I'm actually a bit excited to just see a bit more of these players.
Yeah, these players are all fighting for 2 spots in the actual finals tomorrow. Who are your favorites so far?
I think Cifka is a really I like his lineup. He's just totally different from everyone else here. So yeah, I think it's pretty strong, and he's maybe my pick out of these 2, but 2 will make it, and I can see everyone doing it. We have 3 really good players here. Kalento showing up pretty strong today. Doc also, so it's gonna be close.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll be having those games coming up really shortly. These lineups, StanCifka versus Dog, I'll check over who actually won that game. Was that, I think that was yesterday. It was yesterday, so yeah. StanCifka actually beat Dog 3-1 yesterday. What advantages do you feel StanCifka had going into that match?
I think this was like the match where StanCifka had like not that much favorites. There was no warrior from Dog at all, and so StanCifka is really targeting the warrior at this tournament. So I wonder how this series will go. The handlock from him is still really strong against Dog. It's gonna be close.
StanCifka has been banning Hunter every game. Do you think that is because of his lineup? Does his lineup get beaten by Hunter? Or that's something he just doesn't want to play against?
Yeah, I see him banning a lot of Hunter and Mage in general. It's more because he doesn't ban Warrior. And for some surprise reason, not many people play Druid at all. So yeah, he has like more a free ban, and Hunter just has a good matchup overall, and especially against Handlock and Druid, it's not the deck you want to face them all. So yeah, it's a pretty good ban from him.
So Dog not bringing any warriors at all. StanCifka's control warrior, you got to face that in the game. How did you feel about that match?
I got to face it the hard way, let's say it that way. Yeah, I faced it with my patron. He ended up being 80 armor. I still thought I had a lot of damage, but I wasn't even close. So at the last 10 minutes, after 10 minutes, I was like, yeah, why do I even have to play this game?
You could have just conceded and saved some time. I mean, StanCifka actually did a very similar strategy with his Mage against Cypher's Patron Warrior in the first game, just kind of fatiguing him out. So yeah, he is actually going with the Hunter ban, so he's staying consistent with how he's played this entire tournament, and his Mage has been banned once again. Why is everyone banning this Mage?
The thing is, most of our the players' lineups here are really weak to the Freeze Mid, and he even teched it pretty well with even the duplicate, so it even makes decks, the people that play Patron Warrior, as I do and others do, it makes even the Patron Warrior really bad, so you just have no good matchup, and maybe the Control Warrior that is so tagged with double BGH and like it's maybe a bit over-tagged, maybe you can sneak a win in there easy. I think that is the reasoning behind it.
So Paladin's going to be lining up against the Handlock. Secret Paladin, very aggressive version from Dog. You played this exact matchup in your last game versus StanCifka, and you took some kind of high-risk, high-reward kind of plays, I thought, really trying to finish him off as quick as possible. How do you feel about that? Do you feel you have to take those risks in this matchup? I think it really depends on your deck, especially his Paladin. Like Dog, we know he plays maybe a bit more aggressive, but he has more reach with cards like Divine Favor, and I really had a deck with Zombie Chow, like really anti-aggro, and like these cards you don't really want against Handlock at all. So I really went for a strategy by just pushing as hard as I can, and yeah, it paid off this time. Maybe I will regret it next time, but I think for me it was a pretty important thing to do. For sure. So, Divine Favor, which you mentioned, is a very strong card, especially in this matchup, because Dog could find between 4 to 8 cards sometimes hitting that Divine Favor. Who do you think is actually favored in this matchup overall? I think Handlock can actually win this well, but if the Paladin gets like this much of a card, it sometimes gets really problematic. But still, the Giants, the Drakes, the Void Callers, Paladin doesn't really have an easy way to deal with it. So yeah, if the Cifka has a bit of time, that like you need a bit of time to get all these things off, I can see Cifka winning this game. But yeah, and from now on, it's really early to say anything. I mean, Cifka's really struggled with finding taunt activators in some of his games in this tournament. He just hasn't had that Sun Fury Protector when he needed it. Maybe only just one Argus, which wasn't enough. Dog actually got to draw a lot of cards there, which is really good for him. Tons of cards, tons of options.
The funny thing is that there is like no secret at all. It's like it looks like a mid-range paladin kind of thing now.
That's good. Do you think that's pretty good for him though? Because then his challenger finds all his secrets rather than drawing them.
Yeah, it might work out. Like at this moment, he has so many cards and so many options, so he will find good plays for sure. Yeah.
Coin Void Caller, is that an option here?
It's for sure an option, especially with the last draw. With the Morganis there. It plays a bit of curve, but you cannot tap this turn anymore, so I won't mind it, but he probably he still goes with it.
He was hovering with the Dark Bomb there. Maybe he's just considered Dark Bombing and then playing the Giant, but the Void Caller will get some value from that Morganis if it does come down.
Cifka was really looking at that Giant, like, you know, if you coin this Void Caller out and you even get another Demon, like, you're never gonna play that Giant, so you really have to consider, do you think it's worth it to just have a, like, more one of a dead card in your hand?
He did have one Molten Giant, so maybe that'll come into effect next turn. Dog just curving out nicely, it gets a shredded, nice sticky minion that can contest the Void Caller and puts on the pressure.
Dog will curve out pretty well the next turns also. He's just so many cards, so many good options. But yeah, the Void Caller.
It's going to do some work here. Do you pop the Shredder with the Void Caller? Or do you use the Dark Bomb? Do you want to get as much value from this, as much trading value as you can with this Void Caller before you get the Death Rattle? Is that the aim?
It kind of depends sometimes. Sometimes it's so important. Like if I will have in Jiraxis, I will maybe say I just want to slam the Jiraxis as early as I can. But Morganis, it's not really an insane value card if he's just lonely on the board. So yeah, I actually really don't mind this. This egg is yeah, pretty tricky. It actually happened with Dog also against me, where he called just Blessing of Kings his egg. And
oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it's like Dog actually likes the egg somehow, I guess.
You dealt with the Blessed version, and then another minion came out. It was just like 2 for 1 of value there. So trades into the Secret Keeper here, keeping this Void Caller just alive. He's going to try and trade as much as possible. Shielded Minibot's a really good minion. It's going to be able to stick around.
It's so interesting how good the Shielded Minibot was. Like everyone liked the card at the start, and it was a good card, but nobody would thought that it will just be the best 2-drop maybe even in the game. Like it's so strong at the moment.
Because it almost certainly will 2 for 1. But not only that, if it can keep the shield up, with stuff like Blessing of Kings, you can have a lot of burst from it from hand if you turn into a 6/6. Or you can trade up really well.
Yeah, it's just a super good value minion, super good anti-aggro card. It just has so much flexibility. It's an awesome card.
Now, Dog in a previous hand-locked match, it might have, well, it must have been StanCifka. He showed a lot of patience. He didn't actually take him below 17 for about 4 to 5 turns. And in the end, he just had to go on the aggressive. I think actually StanCifka won that game in the end, regardless of Dog's patience. When do you turn on the heat? When do you decide, I need to go for it?
That is something that really is depending on your hand. And if you expect like Moltens, you really want to play around Moltens, but sometimes you just can't, or you try at least to play around Molten Taunt, Molten Shadow Flame, and I think Dog will probably still try to play around it as much as he can, but sometimes you just have to go through it. Like if you lose win percentages by just not doing anything and waiting, and like Handlock is an insane value deck, like they're gonna outvalue it, so you just have to put out the trigger at some moment.
Yeah, just take the risk. You are on an aggro deck. Well, this is a little bit more mid-range. He's got the Dr. Boom, he's got the Tyrion. So what does Dog do from here?
Well, there is already 4, 5, 6, 8 damage. 12. It's...
He's just out of reach. He just doesn't have enough amount. Low Feb, maybe a way to kind of
like you can't even just go ahead and just smart away with like Blessing and put him at 2 lives, but it's like if there are Moltens and a heal bot, then you are, and that's like, it's like something I wouldn't actually mind doing. Like he needs to have the heal bot, he needs to have Moltens, he needs to have the Taunt. Like yes, it's likely it's a deck that plays a lot of these cards, but how likely is it that they have all the 3 cards together? Like you really need to have like a strong hand to handle that.
I think Dog agrees with you here, just going to smoke him right in the face there, take him down to 2 health, consecrate in hand as well, so he doesn't have the heal, he still has an option to just consecrate through taunts. So yeah, it's looking pretty decent.
Yeah, if he won't have Consecration, I will probably not like this play. But with the Consecration, like he needs to spend 5 mana for a heal bot. He has then 1 mana and he cannot even taunt it up. I mean, there is no way Cifka can even play around the heal bot or around it really well at all, around the Consecration.
Yeah, it's really tough for him there.
There is the Morganis, of course, and that one really has to pop out. And yeah.
Oh, wow. Is that a loss right there? Because even if you taunt up everything, Consecration's still going to take you out.
Yeah, the Consecration is just... like, you can Shadow Flame the Void Caller. Does that help? If you Shadow Flame here. Silent Shadow Flame. Silent Shadow Flame taunt you're still fine. Or you're not dead on board, at least.
Silent Shadow Flame, yeah, that's a good option there. Alright, Molten's going to come down. StanCifka not giving up yet. He still has a way. That Mal'Ganis is the only way he's going to stay alive here. Shadow Flame does seem to be the option.
Oh, going for the Dark Bomb here. Oh, that Avenge is going to hit probably.
Did he do it in time?
I'm not sure. Okay, there's the all. There could be an option on top alling first and then the 2/2 walled die.
Yep, yeah. Just hit it with the weapon and Consecrate. Taking game number 1 there.
So yeah, really close, but Dog just going aggressive there, and it pays off. Like sometimes, especially against Handlock, that has so many cards and it's gonna outvalue in the long run. You just have to go sometimes, and Dog did it here this time.
Getting that Divine Favor at the start as well probably really helped him, because he found Blessing the Kings early, found Consecrate earlier, so he got the tools he needed to kind of put on that aggressive stance.
You saw Dog already keeping it in the start, like he didn't, like he just kept it, like he knows how important that card is against Handlock. Like this is the matchup where you want Divine Favor. You want it against Handlock Patron, where you can just abuse their strategy. Like it just really abuses what they want to do. They want to draw and get value out of their draws, and yeah, pretty strong.
Game number 1 goes to Dog. Got the Tempo Mage and the Zoolock left. Is Druid the big problem here for StanCifka, lining against these last 2 decks? Not very great matchup. So do you think Druid still has the tools now with Inspirant to kind of punch through these bad matchups?
It feels already for Cifka always, or everyone is saying like Dog maybe, or Druid is probably the weaker link of the deck, but it's still Druid. Like it can do really strong things, and it's just a really tier 1, tier 2 deck now. And yes, it has some weak matchups now in this more aggro meta, but it can do well against aggro.
All right, Zoolock, or the Demon Zoolock, coming back here. That's a clunky start. He does have the Nerubian Egg, he does have the Overwhelming. He can react to some stuff that StanCifka plays, but he's very much relying on StanCifka playing stuff in order to activate that.
Yeah.
How do you feel about these hands overall?
Yeah, like it's really slow from Dog. Like, of course, you really want a 1-iron or a decent 2-drop here. It's still like you can get value out of these cards. You don't want creepers at all when there are armor smiths and acolytes. So it's not that this egg is really bad, but it's just like you give Warrior probably too much time by just having such a slow hand and giving too many options and curving out better. I mean,
Void Terror definitely makes things a little bit brighter for Dog here, because obviously he gets the 4/4, he gets the 3/5, and then he has the option to either Argus them, to create bigger minions, he could Implosion, so he's got a lot of stuff going on. I think the Void Terror pickup was something that does help him to an extent. Dark Bomb, so that's an interesting addition that Dog's put in here. Do you feel Dark Bomb has a place in Demon Zoo?
It's something that doesn't really fit the Demon Zoo strategy, but it's still I mean, it's an okay card. 2 mana, deal 3 damage. You can play it for board control, what the Zoo does a lot. So I won't mind it. It's maybe a strange card for this meta with so many sticky minions, but I can see just putting in 1. Like, how bad can you go with putting in 1?
Maybe it's to target the Aspirants because of how powerful the Aspirant is if you kind of leave it around. Deathspike going to come down on the coin here and be able to clear up this 4/4 and start negating some of the pressure Dog is putting down. Oh, Flame him, not great draw there. Looks like he's forced to Argus just to protect this guy.
It just saves him from the Deathspite attack, so it makes a lot of sense. Ooh, that's actually not bad for Cifka, because it gives him the ability to just kill this Void Terror without using any removal. Can even play the Armor Smith or just an armor up with it. I won't really mind that. I think the Cruel Taskmasters, like you can wait with it. Like everyone is always talking about the Cruel Taskmaster BGH combo 2 to kill like 5 mana or 5 attack creatures, but it feels so like it feels a bit tricky to wait with it.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, it's very situational, but in this case, if he does Cruel Taskmaster this after, at least he develops a 2/2 right, and he can drop the Armor Smith as well. So it just it develops a board that he can start contesting the zoo, because that's the best way. Well, that's mainly the only way apart outside of Implosion and maybe this Dart Bomb that zoo fights for board. They rely on their minions and the minion interaction. Oh, that's kind of another withdraw.
Are we going for an Implosion here?
On the
has to be a good one.
yeah, Implosion, man.
You can start with it. Like if it goes bad, you can still make a value trade with your Argos. Like, are you that sad about him leaving up a 2/2? Okay, dog goes for the safe play.
4.
Oh.
Just seen the whirlwind off the Deathbite there. Maybe he feels a bit safe, but StanCifka does have a Deathbite in his hand, but it's going to take him an extra turn to get that Death Rattle off. Well, Void Walker will protect his Argus at least from the Deathbite. You'll have to just slam that in.
Yeah, Deathbite. You see, like this is just a moment where you see how strong Deathbite is of a card. It's like in Patron, it's even better because it's already it fits the Patron strategy by just abusing patrons with the wind effect. But just in general, like even without Control Warriors playing this weapon because of the Death Rattle.
There's a lot of minions in decks that are 1/1s. Implosion is one of them. You obviously Unleash the Hounds, like Haunted Creeper. The hero power from Paladin, so Deathbite does clear up a lot of important cards in some of these decks, especially the decks that are really popular.
Yeah. So yeah, Doc probably wants to trade these imps into the Armor Smith to not die to the Death Rattle, but it's really annoying because you give the warrior more armor, and you know that this matchup you have to be aggressive, otherwise you're gonna fall behind. But yeah, I think the value trade is in this state of the game still too important.
Alright, all the imps gone now, so no value from Deathbite, but the Deathbite's still going to do some work here. Be able to clear at least one minion, maybe in conjunction with some other stuff. Sylvanas there off the top. StanCifka's pretty healthy as well, I think, because he hasn't had too much pressure from Dog, because Dog has such a slow start. What would you like to see from StanCifka? Do you think Sylvanas is good going forward? Draw more cards, maybe?
I think the Shield Maiden Shield Stamp combo is just so strong at turn 7. Like, you guarantee an insane clear on a good minion. So, I think there is just no reason to really go for the Shield Maiden. I think Acolyte doesn't. Do you really want to draw and put out a bad minion? I like the Sylvanas for sure. Ooh, double Void Terror there from Dog. Gets out a bit clunky in this matchup, I think, where you want to push, like, Void Terror sometimes a really sick card together with Power Overwhelming. So
maybe this is an opportunity for him to use it, but the problem is Sylvanas will steal something. He does have to deal with this without the silence. He hasn't drawn it. Implosion can make Sylvanas less effective, but Deathbite is just sitting there waiting to clear it up. So StanCifka actually...
Definitely not an Implosion turn here, in my opinion.
Yeah, if the Deathbite had gone away, it would have looked a lot stronger.
I'm not even sure if you trade here. Like, Sylvanas cannot even trade on board next turn.
Alright, Abusive, is he going to trade? No?
No, he's just going for it, man.
Straight to face here.
Yeah, and the Sylvanas, it doesn't have any trade on board. It can go to 2 HP and 1 HP from the Deathbite, so yeah, maybe it's just a better turn to maybe wait a bit, maybe Implosion it after the Deathbite is gone. It makes a lot of sense.
Having to consider as well, Dog's got 7 damage of Burst in hand for the overwhelming Dark Bomb, so taking a more aggressive stance here might just give him a bit more reach in the next coming turns, with StanCifka being so low. Shield
Maiden Shield Slam is going to be super strong here. I think you can even consider it just doing now and just clearing the Imp Gang boss, and you can just trade into the Argus or Flame Imp, and then the board will be clear. You can drop Boom, but that feels like super tricky.
Yeah, you clear the board, you gain health, you gain 2 stable bodies still on the board. It looks pretty good. I like that. StanCifka is going to consider all his options. Like I said, Boom It's pretty tricky because you are quite low. Well, that actually looks like he agrees with you.
I can take the hit.
Yeah, it feels like just an safe play and good play. It clears the board. It does it's so important to just have board control against Zoo. So yeah, I really like that Cifka just saves the spot.
And there we go. Board has been cleared.
Yeah, definitely like the safe play from Dog here. By just playing that Dark Bomb before, like how bad can it be to give him 1/1 imp? But
you need all the imps you can get right now.
Oh, and this one mattered a lot.
Oh man, that really sucks for Dog.
Like that first one with hitting the 4 was not that important, but this one is really important, especially not killing off the shield maiden and giving such a value trade to Cifka.
Dr. Boom comes down versus 2 little imps and another imp to the hand. Such a bad draw.
Yeah.
Has to tap.
Doomguard is 1 off now.
He can clear the Dr. Boom with the overwhelming and the abusive, but he just keeps trading. He doesn't.
What is your win condition afterwards?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the problem.
He doesn't. He's not putting any real pressure. I mean, he had the most pressure he had was about a turn or 2 ago, but such a clean clear with that shield maiden. It's just set Dog back so much.
Get in there and fight, maggot!
Do you create the Mega Terror? The Mega Void Terror?
Yeah, looks like he goes for it. I like it. Well, that's
man.
a pretty big terror.
The double BGH in StanCifka's deck.
I think Doc also though is like, yeah, he runs double BGH. He might have it here at this point of the game, and yeah, he's gonna feel it.
Oh man, shield block first. He's teasing him.
Oh, that BGH, man.
Feels bad.
Well, that's... you're still... I think you can still take the damage with the axe. You go to... you might die somehow. Yeah, maybe it's better to save.
Play it
like
safe.
there can be like Doomguard, and then you will see like this is the one game where your opponent goes Doomguard into tap and gets
It's a powerful
overwhelming.
Yeah,
or
yeah, for
something.
sure. It's not worth the risk. You're so far ahead. You might as well just play it safe. And this is where Zoo can really struggle. Come to the later games, it starts drawing these really undervalued minions, especially against a control deck where you'll have booms and groms and all sorts coming forward.
Yeah, and
this is it.
Yeah, Cifka lethal on board here, or not lethal on board, but with the Fire War Axe exactly lethal here and finishing the game here against Zoo. It was always considered as a bit of a bad matchup for Warrior, but I feel like the consistency is back in the Control Warrior, and Zoo is getting a bit slower. Like these Eggs, these Creepers, these Imp Gang bosses, it doesn't do much against these control decks that just need some time.
Especially with stuff like Deathbite, which clears up Implosion really easily. It can clear up the Creepers really easily. So Warrior seems to have the tools once again to fight this matchup.
Weapons definitely a really good thing here. Like how often do people say if there is just a Fire Box, it's so important sometimes to just
Fiery Wind Axe, as they call it. Alright, Handlock is going to queue into the Tempo Mage. Dog running those Clockwork Gnomes, interact with that Flame Waker, and maybe even the Antonidas at the end.
Okay.
So, how do you feel this matchup is overall?
This is one of my favorite matchups to play because I think it's a pretty high skill matchup, and I think Handlock is favorite.
Here, it's very
just because the minions that they
for some time, but it's
at some moment the Tempo Mage just has to run in some spells. That's really gonna hurt them later in the game. But there are definitely a lot of tools also for the Tempo Mage to win this.
I mean, the Fireballs play an important role in kind of finishing off the Handlock. If you can kind of keep them at kind of that threshold where they can't play the Moltons, and then you have enough burst in your hand on board, you generally take them out. We saw a lot of Tempo Mage in the NA Championships. Tons of Tempo Mage. America seems to love that deck, so they seem to like it and kind of favor it. Oh, I
hello,
never know.
Gnomish Inventor.
So many gnomes on the board right now. Robo gnomes, normal gnomes.
Yeah.
Arcane Blast. That's an interesting card that's had a lot of debate. How do you feel about Arcane Blast? What's your thoughts on it?
It's a really... I actually kind of like the card. It's not a card I would run too off because it feels like pretty situational. But like with Telnos and with the Ezra Drake here, like you have some cards that really fit well with it. And I wouldn't mind just playing one. It feels pretty good.
I mean, if you have Dispel Power, it's a 1-mana Flame Cannon which you can target, so that's pretty good. StanCifka here, he's got a lot of options. Oh, Hellfire comes down as well, and he's got a Molten in hand, so it's going to reduce the cost of that. There's the Fireball.
Oh, that's a really important pickup. Like, everyone knows how important it is to not use any Fireballs, any Frostbolts in the early game, because you're going to need them in the later game. You need to finish your opponent with using these spells. But there will, at some moment, you don't know maybe which turn, there will come out towns, and these spells are really key.
So with Fireball and his current board and Arcane Blast, he has Lethal, right? So if StanCifka can't create a taunt, at least remove some of this board.
But the Arcane Blast is only going to minions.
Oh,
right?
it's only minions,
so
is it? My bad.
That's why Arcane Blast is not that broken. Otherwise, we will see some insane Malygos decks that will be so broken. You need only one card, and that's Arcane Blast.
See, I haven't actually used... I don't think I actually own any Arcane Blast. I don't think I've actually pulled any or crafted any.
It's a card that is out, but nobody really tried to play with it. And now we recently see some Tempo Mages picking it up, because board control is so important against these Paladins in the mirror matches. So definitely not a card that does much against Handlock, but...
I remember Reynard saying he really liked the card because it just helps with the general strategy of Tempo Mage, especially in the matchups where you have to fight for board. You pay 1 mana, you generally kill a minion. It seems pretty good.
So Cifka running in the same problem again by just not getting these taunts, man. It's just hurting so much.
How many Sun Furies does he run? Do you know? Because I don't see any.
You can cut an Argus, but you cannot cut Sun Furies, and I'm pretty sure that he had to. I'm pretty sure that I even saw it. It's just him not having him at the right time where he needs it here, I guess.
He just never has them, and it's been kind of a theme of his handlock, especially in day 2, not finding the taunt givers when he needed them. And when he gets them, it's a little bit too late.
Yeah, and low tap so good here, just making sure that there will not be any good clear happening. Yes, there can be taunts, and that will be really annoying, but with Fireball, you just put StanCifka on a clock. Like, he's just gonna die in 2 turns if you ping face next turn.
For sure. It's so tough for StanCifka. He does tap, hoping to find something. It's not enough.
It's something, but yeah, it's only something.
It's not enough to stop a Fireball to the face now.
No.
Is this just it, unfortunately, for StanCifka?
Yeah. Trying, but there's even Lethal on board now. So he was maybe hoping for something out of the Shredder that won't hurt him too much. I mean, he only saw the 2 damage from the Nomish Inventor. But yeah, not working out at the end.
Really quick win for Dog there, taking it to 2-1. He's 1 game away from getting his first win in this round robin and the tiebreak. He still has to play Kalento as well. And if he manages to beat Kalento, he'll be guaranteed a spot. There are 2 spots going from this 3-round man round robin, so only 1 player will not be going through, which will really suck.
That sounds pretty sad indeed. Well, with the Zoo left, not that good into the handlock probably. A lot of people find it unfavored. I think it's pretty unfavored myself too. I had this matchup against Cifka too, and I just went for it. I was like, I'm not gonna win this game in the long run. I just go for it, and I think it's a good strategy to just take, and a pretty aggressive hand for Dog here. And I think that is like the only, like the old Zoo was pretty good against handlock, but the new Zoo is like it just hurts you in the control matchups.
And Argus is there in his opening hand, so finally StanCifka does have a taunt activator, which he's been missing so much in recent games. So the one thing that Zoo does struggle with in this matchup, especially the slow ones, is punching for those big taunts. Even like Ancient Watchers can be a bit of a nightmare. And it's only generally 1 silence you run, right? So it can be tough. And a lot of AoE as well coming from the handlock.
Okay, so yeah. It's
a lot of pressure.
Curving out pretty nice here. And also this Imgang Boss just not being in that 3 health spot where it will die to the Hellfire is also pretty important here to leave something up. Yeah, it's still something. Playing Giant here feels even risky. It sounds
so low.
weird, but it goes. This game Just went pretty fast.
Yeah, already down to 16 health, a nice healthy board from Dog. Hellfire, like you said, doesn't clear the in-game boss, and you'll get a 1-1 from it as well, so he'll even just, like, you'll have 2 minions on board still.
Yeah, you go to 13 life, and I don't know if you will even be sad with that. Like, you even want to go maybe lower and have that one swing turn when you can just put out your Molten with something else. I wonder what Dog is going to do about it. Oh my god, and there is more damage for him.
So much damage from hand. So, he's at 12 anyway.
Yeah, that's the point, right?
You might as well just go for it, right?
It's like 12 is still okay. I mean, then there is the 5 mana turn, and then you can play a giant, but you need you can only play 1 giant or double giant with like a Sunfury, but then you need like so much together. So you still play around in giant Shadow Flame, giant Argus, like playing out the. It's still a lot. So I don't know if you go for it or not, but Dog seems to like it.
Doomguard.
Coin Doomguard.
And he doesn't discard the Dark
How
Bomb
often
as
did
well.
we saw that with a full hand? Coin Doomguard.
Not very often. But it worked out for Dog because he kept the Dark Bomb, so he still has more burst from hand to come.
And that's what we say, like, he needs already to spend 2 or 4 mana by making a Taunt, by making a Sunfury or an Argus if you have the Molten. Like, StanCifka has 9 cards now, and he needs already like 2-3 cards together, and it's just so hard to get that when you did a mulligan much.
If he gets the Sunfury Protector, it'd be a lot better now, because then he can play the Watcher as well, taunt both the Giant and the Watcher up. But it just looks like the Argus is going to come down now, and this 9-9 might be it.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah, that does something, I mean, but
If only he could punch that 1 damage through.
Yes! I was looking at every 1 damage, just going to the face.
Oh man.
Dude.
So Dog took the risk. StanCifka had a response. He has the taunt to stop him. I guess he could tap, but you want to clear the Giant still though, so...
I will not mind and tap here. I mean, Argus doesn't do anything. You trade on the board, but there will be another one, and after that one there comes another one. If you just pick up a Power Overwhelming here, it's just lethal. So, Abusive Surgeon does already... Yeah, doesn't do it, but...
Owl? Owl is something
Definitely
you can
an
find.
all. There is actually an all in Dog's deck, so... I cannot... my hands will trigger just putting on that tap button.
Oh, Dog is not got much time. Is he going to go for the tap? He goes for the Argus.
Yeah, he goes for the more saber play.
Dog is a patient man, which I've learned from his watching him play this this week so far.
I can see this play, but I will just stick to the aggressive stamp. But I mean, if there is no second taunt here and this Argus is gonna just get the hit in, I mean, that's gonna hurt hard.
StanCifka might actually be forced to use the Doomguard here.
Yes. I mean, he saw already 1 Doomguard being gone, so there is like only 1 card that really does immediately lethal. And I mean, what are you gonna do with all these giants and alls, and like it's not like you're having key cards in your hand you don't want to get out anyways.
Oh, throws away the Forest-on and the Owl. I mean, the Owl's not too bad. Forest-on is a bit slow. Oh, there's the Abusive Sergeant. So if he had
Nah, he can't do it with the tap either then.
And there's a Power Overwhelming, all too late. But this Creeper's sticky. It might just be enough if he doesn't find a taunt activator. But he has a silence though, so he can silence it.
Well, Dog just saw an all flying away, so I don't know if he expects a second all here. I wanna do it, expect it. Okay, Watcher not doing anything again, like these
dead Watchers.
The Watchers feel pretty bad without any taunts.
They're just watching from his hand.
Yeah.
They're not doing much else.
They just wanted to stay on the board, just watch the whole game, see how it goes. They like it.
Fab. So now StanCifka's starting to develop at least some threats on the board.
Oh.
It's still so close. Dog could just find just the one little thing he needs.
From this point on, Dog probably knows he will never win the board game anymore. So I think he really needs that Doomguard in his next 2 cards that he's gonna draw. There's just no other card that really is gonna help him here.
Doomguard!
Oh, and there is the Doomguard!
Oh,
I can't believe it.
Oh,
wow.
Dog is gonna take it. He takes his first game in this 3-man round robin. He is much closer to getting his spot in tomorrow's grand finals.
Yeah.
Wow. He just needs Doom Guard.
He just needs, yeah, definitely a really rough last matchup for Doc. It's a matchup that the Handlock is going to outvalue in. But he had a pretty aggressive start, went really aggressive too. I mean, with a coin Doom Guard, I don't know if many people will do that play, but it paid off for him. And
he took the initiative. He knew he had the bad matchup. He took a risk. He ended up paying off. It was very, I mean, finding those options later as well, when he had the abusive and the like overwhelmed.